Terrence Howard. I've become an actor. You know, I've been nominated for Oscars and Golden Globes and SAG Awards, but those weren't the things that really moved me. As a child, I studied chemical engineering at Pratt Institute, was there for 2 years until I saw that there was an inconsistency with the math there. And so I went out to explore a new way of understanding how the universe worked, and I was able to define the grand unified field equation they've been looking for and put it into geometry. And then with that geometry, I was able to put props on that. And what I'm saying is now we have invented a new form of flight that I would like to bring here to Uganda to replace the drones, to replace the helicopters, to replace the planes. We have all the funding necessary. What we need is just a fertile ground in which to build this. Now, this is the geometry of hydrogen.
Of
hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
This is the proton itself. So any bond that hydrogen can make, our linchpins are able to make. So we're talking about unlimited bonding, unlimited predictable structures, supersymmetry. And the linchpins are now able to behave as a swarm, as a colony that can defend a nation, that can harvest food, that can remove plastics from the ocean, that can give the children of Uganda and the people of Uganda an opportunity to spread this and to sell these products throughout the world. So we are no longer just selling agricultural products and pieces from the land. We can now sell and take center stage with technology. But the main purpose is to defend the sovereignty of a peaceful place and a peaceful people without having to have our young men lose their lives. The linchpin. I've been asked many times, what's the significance of the linchpin? What's so important about the point where 6 pentagons meet? It all comes down to the common factor of all things. In our life and our experiences, we've often spent our time trying to deduce things down to their common denominator. Everything has a common denominator and can be reduced to its lowest term. But what's the common denominator of all things? What's the one constitution that all things must abide by in order to exist or to be measurable in our reality? The linchpin marks that space. It is the common factor of all things. It is the place where 4 bubbles meet. It is the point that everything becomes even. Nowadays, since I've invented a new form of flight called tangential flight, the linchpin, unlimited bonding. You never heard anything about it, have you?
No.
Yeah, can you imagine?
New way to fly?
An Oscar-nominated actor invents a new form of flight that takes it from fixed-wing aircraft and 4 degrees of freedom to unlimited degrees of freedom. Tangential flight is the ability to fly around your own center of mass and have unlimited mid-air bonding. That means I have a supersymmetrical system, but not just that. 4 supersymmetrical systems I patented. You've never heard of that. How is that? How is that?
Is it my fault?
No.
Okay. I was just making sure.
No.
I was just making
No,
sure.
it's suppression. It's suppression. Because you know how I figured it out? What's 1 times 1?
1 times 1 is 1.
To multiply means to do what? To make more, right?
Yes.
Increase in number,
Yes.
multiply.
Yes.
How can 1 times 1 equaling 1 be part of the multiplication table? It fails to satisfy the term multiply. It doesn't multiply. Does it? What's an action times an action?
You got some weed.
No, I'm asking you. Honestly, I'm asking you. Reason.
What are we doing here?
Reason. I want you to reason.
I don't know.
What's an action times an action? A reaction. Right? Have you
Okay.
ever seen an action times an action without a reaction? Have you? No. Because equanimity is the currency of the universe. There's always an action times an action having a reaction. So how can 1 times 1 equal 1? How can A times B just be A and not B? What happened to conservation
Terrence,
of
these
energy?
are late night conversations.
These are
bro.
no. These
Yeah,
are.
they are.
This is the beginning of our understanding. It should fit. What kind of calculator you got? What kind of phone you got?
It's an iPhone.
Okay, go to your calculator.
Whatever the new.
No, go to your
Okay.
calculator. Go to your calculator.
All right. Go to calculator.
Go to your calculator.
Yeah,
you
I got
do too. You got iPhone?
What are we doing?
I want both of y'all to do 2 separate things. I want to do the same thing to start with. Turn it to the side.
Okay.
All right. Now I want you to both hit the number 2. Did the whole calculator show up?
Hit number what?
Hit the number 2.
Number 2.
Go to the square root. It is the second column from the left, 3rd row. It'll have that squiggly
Yeah.
thing.
All right.
You get
1.4.
1.4142135623730995.
Holy
now
crap.
I want you two to do 2 separate things now. 2 separate things. I want you to multiply it by 2, hit times 2, equal, don't you do it.
Okay.
And I want you to hit x to the 3rd. X to the 3rd, it's going to be... the
Times
3rd.
3?
No, x to the 3rd.
Oh, X. Oh, okay. I see it.
X to the 3rd.
Yeah, I got you. All right. 1.1.
No, you didn't hit x to the 3rd.
Yes, I did.
If you hit x to the 3rd.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
So
I
go
did
back
that.
again.
Okay,
You
so
keep
now
yours where you are.
Yeah, I'm
2,
good.
2
square root,
square root.
and hit x to the 3rd.
All right. 2.82.
2.828, 4271, 2174, 6190. The same value you got
Yeah.
by multiplying it by 2.
Yes.
And he just cubed it. Divide it by 2 again. Both of y'all. Divide
Divide it by 2.
No, divide by 2, hit equal. Now, cube it again. Hit x to the 3rd.
Yeah.
You see that loop?
Yeah.
That's saying x cubed is equal to 2x, which is equal to x plus x. That's an unnatural equation. That's a mathematical fallacy. And that's the beginning of your math. That's how I invented tangential flight, because your math, someone programmed that lie in there and lied to you and everyone, and all your fundamentals are off.
around the very center of the planet, with further research along with seismic data appearing to show that this mass to be a solid sphere. Hollow Earth theories vary on exactly what the mass is, with some stating that it could be a magnetic core, while others suggest that it is a central sun. This is particularly interesting as modern science seems to suggest that the center of the Earth could indeed be as hot as our sun. In ancient times, Buddhists believed that the Earth was hollow and that it housed a race of supermen and women who would venture to the surface via tunnels. Buddhists even kept guards at the entrances to these tunnels to the inner Earth, said to be in Tibet.
The identity element that sits up and says, no, the Jim Crow law sits. Black people sit in the back of the bus because that's what the law says, without even having a foundation for it. One times any number is that number, without a foundation, with no principle, it just says it.
But if you go by your logic and you say 1 times 1 is 2, 1 times 2 is 3, and then how would you define 2 times 4? Is that's just...
That stays, all that remains the same. Anything with 1, just add 1. The first rule of multiplication...
Okay, then where's the difference between addition and multiplication?
Well, multiplication is what? Exaggerated addition. Isn't it?
But isn't it a matter of mathematical convention?
What is?
If it was defined in the beginning, it could have been defined differently, but logical, it makes the most sense.
Use the mic, darling.
Sorry. Is it a matter of mathematical convention? If you define beforehand that something, logically, it makes the most sense that 1 times 1, if you have 1 laptop, 1 times a laptop is 1 laptop, that makes more sense than you say it's 2 laptops.
Well, now if you say...
And then that's where the mathematical convention comes in. And that's large part of math is convention. It's how it has been defined. It's a matter of definition.
And it's wonderful. The convention is all right if the material and the information being shared in the convention is true. But when you're talking about dogma being added in, with that thing that I showed you, did you look at the square root of 2? Do you think that that's a loop, that's a natural thing with the square root of 2? Did you believe that?
I mean, it's the same with pi. There's not a mathematical...
No, it's not the same though. It's not the same with pi. What we just did, we multiplied it, we cubed the number, and then we divided it by 2, and we cubed it again and divided it by 2, and we did that a number of times, and that number still remained the same exact number, which we know cannot happen.
Da-da. Da-da. Da-da.